Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop! That's the signal!
Go!
Go!
Fits!
It's beautiful!
Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Thursday. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com, powered by our good friends at Willis Automotive. If you're watching on YouTube right now, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like and start leaving comments. You can follow us on the social media channels, X at Rush Mornings. Just look for us on Facebook with the Rush with Travis and Ross and the Rush Radio Show on Instagram. And, of course, you can always listen live at therushradio.com and the streaming service. So what's going on there, Roscoe Peterson?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. This week is, I can't decide if it's a fast week or if it's a slow week. Have you ever had one of those, like, this week's just flying by, where'd the time go? And then there's some that are just dragging. I'm in that little in-between mark right now. Like, okay, is it a fast week? It is a slow week? But we're at Thursday, and so I think it's going fairly fast.
This is a fast week, and can you believe it's only Thursday?
It's only Thursday. Man, where'd the time go?
Travis, funny. The weeks, time is weird to me right now. I think I'm still in that dad mode where it's odd, man. I don't really recognize days, weekends, you know what I'm saying? They're just days. I just wake up, I do my thing, I go to bed.
Yeah, you got a lot more on your plate than I do. You're a single dad with 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
And the primary caregiver. I think I can say that.
Forgot that Eli had a baseball meeting. This is the pain of it. Like,
baseball already?
Yeah. The parent-player meeting was last night. And I've got Audrey has dance till 7. Eli's meeting is at 6:30.
So you're running all over Des Moines. You're all over the place.
So they worked out. Everything worked out great. Got it all done. Get it taken care of.
How long till that kid gets his driver's license to where you don't have to worry about that?
We are working on the permit right now. Yep.
Because he's already 14, right?
He's already 14, yeah. But he didn't want to get the permit right away. He wasn't, like, super eager to do it. I mean, I had the truck for him, and I had everything ready for him. He just wasn't super eager. Then it got to be about Christmas, and all of a sudden he was like, hey, Dad, what about this driver's ed thing? Yeah, we got to get going on that, and that'll make life a lot easier once I can.
Do they still do? Because when I was growing up, I went to Tri-Center Neola. We had driver's ed in the school, right? Mm-hmm. So we had a teacher, George Sorensen. Remember George Sorensen, old World War II vet, politically incorrect as all get out, but he was a World War II vet, right?
I think you just described every one of our driver's ed teachers.
Yes. Do they still do driver? Because where I live in Nebraska, they do driver. You have to pay for driver's ed outside. You have to go to a driving school. Okay, so you don't do it within the school. So you pay like $450, $500, and it's like a
Street Smarts or something like that.
Yeah, but do they do driver's ed in the school still, or
we've got those 2 options still? I don't know if they still do it through the school, Trav. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't think that they do actually.
Okay.
But you've got like all the Street Smarts and those independent contractors that you can pay to do it, or there is a system where he can basically drive with a parent for a certain number of logged hours and then go take his test. We're taking that method.
That's probably a good way to go. Greta has her driver's license, but she still really doesn't want to drive. Maybe she wants to drive, but she hasn't really shown a desire or willingness to. So we still haul her around at age 18, which I don't have a problem to do. But I think a lot of kids just like the Uber thing too, right? I mean, it's just like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna hail an Uber and make it easy that way. We may come up on a
get crazy expensive.
Was it you who was telling me that there's a guy, or maybe somebody else told me, maybe it was my boss, that he worked it out when you work in gas, car payment, maintenance, everything. He decided to just Uber everywhere. Like when he goes on dates, he sends the Uber to pick up his date, then come to pick up him, and he just does an Uber all the time. I like the freedom of driving. I like windshield time.
Me too. I love windshield time. I love driving. I think you nailed it there. The freedom of it.
Yeah. So it's driving's one of those things, but that'll make your life much easier in your situation when Eli can just get in the pickup, and you don't have to worry about him totaling it out. Or you do have to worry. Well, yeah. I don't. Can you total out the pickup?
The driver's ed stories, dude. The driver's ed stories are great. We had a guy, I think his name was George Peterson. Big dude. I'm pretty sure Vietnam or World War II veteran. The thing that I remember was that he would fall asleep a lot. He was known for falling asleep, either in the simulator.
Oh, you had a simulator.
We had a simulator.
We didn't have a simulator. We had a car.
I didn't know the simulator was supposed to be interactive until I was done with driver's ed and talking to other people. I was like, God, that simulator was the dumbest thing ever. And they're like, well, yeah, except for, when you'd like not do something right and it would light up. Like, what? Like, yeah, when you didn't make the right turn or you didn't hit the brake in time, the thing would like light up. I go, mine never lit up. They'd be like, oh, yeah, that's probably because Mr. Peterson was asleep in the back.
So you were a perfect driver all the time. Like, Ross Peterson, you got an A.
And then the same thing would happen. When guys went out and drove, they'd come back and be like, where'd you guys go? They're like, wherever we wanted. Mr. Peterson fell asleep. That's trust. That's trust, by the way. Sit down in the car with a 15-year-old you don't know and go, all right. Let's get back in an hour.
Just don't wreck. Just don't wreck. It's crazy.
Jay said, my driver's ed teacher told us not to be afraid to get laid for the first time in a car. Said he did it and his parents did it in a horse-drawn carriage.
Was your first time in a car?
No.
Yeah,
was yours?
Mine. No. Second time, but not the first time. Yeah, all memories. So long ago.
Not so long ago for me, honestly. Not so long ago.
So I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Because you're a man of morals, you're a man of principle, you're a man of pleasing people.
Oh boy.
That's what you are. You're a man of pleasing people. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. You want to do what's right. I got to set this up a little bit, though, because you and I do a lot of PA announcing. You're over at Grandview quite a bit. And I do PA announcing for a local, my daughter's high school, Marion High School.
I need to share for just a second why I'm looking so excited, because I forgot about this. I called you last night, and we were talking, and you said, hey, by the way, don't let me forget, tomorrow I have to tell you the craziest public address announcing story I've ever been a part of.
Well, that I've been a part of.
Yeah, you said, I need to know what you would do.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I need to set this up. So it's district basketball last night. Most likely the last home game, which my daughter's high school is hosting. And I've been the PA announcer there for 8 or 9 years now.
And this will probably be the last game you do then?
The last game I do this year. I'll continue to do it even after Greta's gone, because they pay me, and I like, you know what, it's not bad for $20 an hour just to get a little spending cash. But so I need to set this up. It's a district game. It's a 5:30 game. You have Marion High School, which is a predominantly all-white girls Catholic high school. Okay, it's all girls, predominantly white, against Omaha North, which is a predominantly all-black school. And so every time before the game, I meet with the head coach to go over pronunciations of names.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that I get it correct and I spell it out phonetically so I don't screw it up. So I'm going through all the names. And I come up to a girl named DeMariana. And I'm like, am I saying this right? She goes, well, that's not her name. I go, what do you mean it's not her name? She goes, her name's Fatty. I said, excuse me? She goes, yeah, her name's Fatty. It's been Fatty since birth. It's a cultural thing. I said, okay, I'm not going to call her Fatty. And she's like, well, that's her name. She goes, you're going to hear the crowd going, come on, Fatty, let's go, Fatty. Everybody's going to say, let's go, Fatty. And I'm like, yeah, I get it on your side. I go, I'm trying to be respectful here.
I understand you call her Fatty.
Yeah. So I'm like,
her Fatty.
I go, your side's going to get it. I've got a bunch of PC, fairly liberal white Catholics who are, if I go, hey, Fatty at the line, they're going to look at me and go, what are you doing? So I go, can I meet Fatty?
Oh, my God. This is great.
So I go, can I meet Fatty? And she goes, yeah. She goes, Fatty, come here. And I'm like, okay. Fatty's the smallest one on the team. Smallest and skinniest one on the team.
Of course. Well, now it kind of makes sense.
And so
now it doesn't seem so mean.
I go, hey, I just want you to know, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm not going to call you Fatty on the microphone. I just can't call you Fatty. And she looks at me and she goes, okay. Like she was disappointed. You know, I'm like, I get it. That's what everybody calls you. That's what your mom and dad call you. I can't call you Fatty. What would you have done in that situation? When a coach goes, hey, it's cultural, it's what we're going to call her, everybody's going to call her that. And she wasn't wrong. It was really bizarre because I had some of their fans she get in the game, come on, Fatty, pass the ball, Fatty. And I'm just sitting there going through my head, if I was actually calling her Fatty, it'd be like, Fatty for 3.
Foul on number 4, Fatty.
And people would, I've just never been in that situation. I've had a lot of people. This
is great.
I've had a lot of people with nicknames and names that are very hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Grandview Wrestling has a kid right now. When I called their last meet, he goes by GK because he's from Africa and nobody can pronounce his first or last name.
And that's
they
fine.
Call him GK. And
GK's not Fatty.
No, I went exactly right, and that's what I'm Travis. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. We've had those moments, right? You go over there and you're like, "Hey, I see it's Alexandria, right?" And they're like, "Actually, everybody just calls her AJ
or Alex or something." Yeah, AJ.
And sometimes it's like, actually, just call her Cookie. And you go, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." And I've done that a dozen times. You cross out a name, you're like Cookie.
Yeah.
And now that's Cookie out there. I've never had somebody be like, yeah, that's Clumsy. Yeah, we call that's not Larry. That's not Larry. We call him Clumsy. So if you could just say, traveling, Clumsy.
But see, there's a disconnect because I come home and I tell Anjanette and Greta the story. I'm like, you're not going to believe the story. And Greta is horrified. She goes, who calls a teenage girl Fatty?
Now, I do think the most important part of the story is she wasn't fat. She was a little tiny, skinny girl. So
little tiny, skinny girl.
Yeah. It's calling the one eye, the dog missing the leg lucky. You know what I mean?
But Greta had so many questions. She's like, well, was she a fat baby? I go, I don't know. I wasn't there at birth. I have no idea.
Travis said, okay, before we go any further, I have some questions.
Oh, I would have liked to sit down with mom and dad, right? Okay, where did the name Fatty come from?
It could have just, Trav, remember we talked the other day about how names stick around.
They do.
Eli is Bubby in this house because Audrey called him Bubby for the first couple years of her life, and now I call Eli Bubby. I bet that's what it was. I bet she was like a chunky baby. And they're like, oh, look at our little fatty. Oh, she's so cute, our little fatty. And then it became the name. They don't think of it as Fatty. They don't think of it that way. It doesn't mean fatty 2x4. That's not what they're saying. It's
Couldn't get through the kitchen door.
yeah. Now it's more like PHADDY, fatty.
So it's not fatty.
It's not
fatty.
FATT. It's PHADDY, fatty.
Yeah, it doesn't come off like that on the microphone. You understand that, right?
No, you can't call a girl. Dude, you nailed it. You nailed it. If the first time she checked into the game, you're like, now into the game.
Fatty Tiffin.
North, number 7.
Yes.
Fatty.
And I was trying to be
come down and said, Travis,
I know, right?
we know that there's something wrong with you. What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, they told me to call her fatty.
And I'm sure there were people in the crowd as they were screaming it last night. As she got in, and you're like, what are we doing here? First of all, because it's the first time they played all year, so there's probably people going, they're calling her fatty? Yeah, they're calling her fatty because that's what her name is. But it's just, and the coach, she kind of laughed with me because she knew how, I was just extremely uncomfortable. The whole thing made me uncomfortable. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. She goes, you got to walk the halls of school. She goes, every teacher, everybody. I'm like, I get it, understand it, not going to do it. Just not going to do it. Would you have done it? Because you are a people pleaser. But I'm starting to think you might not have done it.
I think that is a hard one. I think you did the right thing by like, hey, wait a minute. I understand your side of the crowd is going to get it. Half the people here know that her name is Fatty. Here's the problem. The other half don't.
Yeah. Now, if I was doing PA for you at home, I'd have no problem doing it. But you're not in your gym. I'm kind of representing the home team here. There's no way I'm going to do that.
Trav, the other option was just to totally lean in and be like, all right, Fatty? Okay. Can I come up with nicknames for all the girls? The redheaded girl. Yeah. Hey, check into the game. Pippi Longstocking, everybody. Fatty. I think you did the right thing. That's tough.
It is very tough.
That's tough. I could see where your question was because I would have been in a weird position there. I think you did the right thing to say, hey, wait a minute. I got to step back a little bit. Because you would have, the entire game, you would have been explaining that to people. People would have been coming up to you and saying, Travis, are you calling that young lady fatty? It sounds
yes, I am.
It sounds like you're calling her fatty over the speakers. Dude, do we need a new PA system? No. They told me call the girl fatty. Who won? I don't care.
Marion High School won. I think 67-61 was the final.
That was the end of Fatty's career then, huh?
Ryan says, can you say fatty like I say traveling? Because when they travel, I'm always a traveling.
Oh,
and
that's
then
annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's very annoying. But I like to do it. And then can you make fatty traveling? PA is not as easy as you think. And then when you get stuck like that, I mean, names are hard enough sometimes. But when you're put in a predicament like that, you got to make a judgment call.
I always like when you go over to the team and like the coaches are busy, right? And so like the trainer or like sometimes some of the other players come over and they're like, "Oh, you need help? Like, yeah, can I go through some pronunciations with you?" Yeah. Go okay. Alessandra, and you see the girls kind of like look at each other and they go, "Well, her name's Fatty." I feel like you're playing a joke on me. You're trying to
get me to say this,
aren't you?
And then I'm going to say it on the microphone, and then you're all going to sit over there and laugh. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Shannon. Shannon, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, Shannon?
Hey, good morning, moron.
What's
How
up?
are you?
Good.
What's up, Shannon?
You know who this really is?
No.
Going off nicknames, it's Moose in Texas.
Oh, what's up, Moose?
What's up, man?
See, I use my real name, And would you ever call me by my real name? No, you call me by Moose.
Yeah.
It's like you guys. Do I ever call you by Travis and Ross?
Yeah,
No,
but
I call you by
Moose,
Moron.
Moose is kind of a term of endearment for a guy. You know what I mean? Being big for a guy is a different. That's not an insult to say Moose.
I understand. No,
Or, you know,
I
guy gets called donkey.
understand.
That one sticks with him.
You know, it's like a lady I used to work with in Florida in the insurance business. Her first name was Nitsa, Nitsa, and her last name was Dick.
Oh,
Nisa
that's
Dix?
unfortunate.
It is.
Nitsa Dick. Yeah.
Well, there was an Iowa girls high school
And she
basketball
married-
player by the name of
she
Fonda
married-
Dix.
Yeah, Fonda Dix was a famous one.
Yeah, I know that. I remember that. But yeah, this lady unfortunately married into it. I think I would have kept my maiden name in that situation.
Oh, good stuff, Moose.
Thanks,
Hey,
Moose.
You, guys, you know what? I love you guys. I love you guys. I love the podcast because I think you guys just. I thought of this just the other day while I was listening, and I just didn't want to comment on it. It's like we can have a conversation. It's just like guys talking in a room. It's not camp.
It's our coffee
give you that
club.
little-
It's our coffee club.
It's our little coffee club, man.
Exactly. All right.
All right,
Thanks,
buddy.
Moose.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Dad worked with a lady named Jean Weaver. Was one of my dad's.
Gene Weaver.
Just nailed it. That's every time. It was one of Dad's best work friends. She'd come over for dinner. I got to know her son really well. And every time Dad would say, "Oh, yeah, I had a thing with Gene Weaver today," somebody in the house would go, "Oh, Gene Weaver."
515-517-2303. Let's go to New Sharon. That's where Derek is. Derek, what's going on?
How we doing this morning, fellas?
Derek!
Couldn't be better.
Hey, I got some intel. You guys were talking about me yesterday, how I wouldn't call. I'm telling you, when my team sucks, I'll tell you they suck, and they sucked the other night. I knew that game was over in the first 5 minutes. That's one thing I don't like about my coach.
Derek, why?
After about 5 minutes of watching that,
What was it you saw in that first 5 minutes? Because I had a lot of Cyclone fan friends that were that way. I thought Iowa State was going to find their gears. I kept thinking they were going to win that game. Even with a couple minutes left, they get it down to a 6-point game. I thought, here we go. A couple threes, Iowa State wins this game. What did you see in that first 5 minutes that I didn't, that every other Iowa State fan seemed to see?
you did not move the ball. The first shot went up early in the shot clock, and the stupid turnovers. They weren't even forced. You just lost the ball out of your hands. I'm like, what are we doing? No, I just knew it was over. And then you go, oh well.
Derek,
Those were not the Cornville Hawkeyes.
there we go. Hey,
Yeah.
Derek, did you have a nickname? Like Derelict?
Did I have a nickname?
Like Derelict?
No. My nickname was Durock.
Durock.
Like that.
Okay.
That's
Do you
a
want
good
to know
one.
why?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Fill us in.
Well, I worked for a farmer when I was in high school, and he raised Durock boards to sell. So my name was Durock.
Oh. Durock
Because he said I always went downtown boring around at night, and I'd show up late for work. But, oh well. Hey, you know how the team takes on the identity of their coach?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, the other night my wife pointed it out when we flipped it over there to watch Illinois throttle the Hawkeyes. She says, how come every year Iowa gets these dorky-looking white guys? I said, well, look at their coach. And she goes, who was that one guy with a sunken-in face? I said, Jared Utah? Yeah. She goes, every year they get some dorky-looking white guys. That's all they recruit.
Man.
I just thought I'd bring that up.
Okay. Random thing to bring up, but okay, Derek.
All right.
All right, buddy.
You guys have a good one.
You too, man.
Derek is like, I know, I get it that some people, they're kind of turned off by Derek. I see Derek as like a Theo Vaughn type of character. Like, I just love the way he says things. Like, I just thought I'd bring that up.
There's a lot of people saying a dumb thing to bring up.
Well, it is. I mean, talking about the way a kid looks. And by the way, I never thought Jared Utoff was an ugly kid. He was a pretty good-looking young man.
Yeah.
I don't remember never. Recruits with a lot of white kids. That's something that has been a Fran thing for a long time.
Yes,
That has been that's just been a thing. What that is, I don't know. But he does recruit. I mean, every year he's got a couple good white kids. He's the Iowa basketball coach.
I don't care what color you are. Are you a good player or not?
And I'm
Doesn't
saying,
matter.
like, as the Iowa basketball coach, wouldn't you expect there to be a couple white dudes on that team? If there's no white guys on the Iowa team, aren't you going to go, hey, none of these dudes are from Iowa? Wait.
It is Thursday. That means we got Beer with Bruno coming up at 7:30. We'll talk about all things full court press establishments, plus El Bait Shop and High Life Lounge. Gary Presnall going to be joining us just after 7 o'clock. It is Thursday. Drake won the Missouri Valley Conference last night. We'll talk about that game, plus you and I's victory and what's on stake for the Panthers. It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Doug Burgess, Service Manager here at Willis Infinity. As we move into 2025, I want to say one final thank you for what 2024 has brought to us. Getting the opportunity to meet many of your customers, and for you, voting us the #1 Google-ranked dealership in the Midwest. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And to know why, and to have that Willis experience yourself, stop on in or go online to make your appointment at willisinfinity.com.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbock to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm John Linares, Sales Manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long at therushradio.com. Just click on that Listen Live link. If downloading a podcast is your forte, you can find it right there at therushradio.com or wherever you find your podcast. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. And Ross Peterson's got a roll of toilet paper out. Is that how you blow your nose? But is that 1-ply or 2-ply?
Yeah, that's. I saw my buddy Christian was like, Ross blows his nose with toilet paper. Yeah, I do. I don't fall for your Kleenex marketing scam. Okay, this money grab, that big facial tissue is out there conning you all into thinking that you need Kleenex.
You do need Kleenex.
Roll of Kleenex right there.
That looks like 1-ply toilet paper, man. That'll rip my nose up. I'll have a bloody nose on the outside by using 1-ply toilet paper.
It's not 1-ply. It's pretty soft.
Ugh. Not me, man. Not me. You drinking the Core Power today? Core Power from our good friends at Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. 42 grams of protein. Lots of protein. Low carb, low sugar, healthy.
Lactose free.
That's right.
That's the other. That's one of the great parts of the Fairlife and the Core Power, and it does taste fantastic. Like, I was nervous about the 42, Travis, because I thought it would be
thick,
or maybe like chalky. You know what I mean? It really does taste like a milkshake. Fantastic. And then I found out, like we were talking about yesterday, there's so many things that people do with it to add to it. I really do think that it's super good by itself. Some people put it in coffee. Some people add diet root beer to it. Some people put it, like, Coke has an orange flavor Coke that's coming out. They do, like, put it with an orange thing to make like an orange dreamsicle thing. Anyway, get clever. Good stuff.
When you need your protein, and everybody needs their protein, go ahead and get yourself Core Power. And by the way, tomorrow, Ross is going to be live at Willis Automotive. He's going to be at the Lexus dealership. And you might even take a test drive afterwards, right? You're going to be, you might drive a Lexus?
Well, we'll see.
Well, in that gated community that you live in, that you'll finally have a car that fits the neighborhood.
I have a really nice car right now, actually.
You do?
I got a real nice car, so I like the car, but getting a chance to drive, cruise around. Here's the deal. I want to learn more about what Lexus does. So, yeah, tomorrow when we go live, I'll be at the Lexus showroom out at Willis. I just want to learn more about what they do, because not all of our listeners can go buy new cars, and not all of our listeners are going to buy new cars every year. But there's something that Willis can do to help every one of our listeners. They've got a service shop. They've got all sorts of stuff, even buying used cars. So we're going to learn a lot more about the Willis family and the dealership. And then when we come back next week, oh boy, finely tuned machine.
That's right. Ryan wants to know if he's able, can we stop by and say hi?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I would. I mean, again, I know they're going to have the doors open for me at 5:30. I don't know what their plans are for folks, but Ryan, yeah, come stop by, man. I'd love that.
Best time to buy a car is early in the morning, because they're ready to sell right away. They're like, I'm going to sell a car by 8 a.m. Let's go.
You know, is there a best time to buy a car? Because the thing always used to be like, well, if you go on the weekends, the salesman can't harass you. I need a salesman. I don't know anything about the car.
I've always heard like the end of the month, right? Because you need to hit your quotas, so they're ready to hit their quotas. And
it's the opposite of the cop thing. It's the cops are more likely to pull you over. Okay, I see what you're saying. End of the year, sneak in there, say, all right, who's ready for the commish?
People are already saying you don't need to be driving a Lexus. You need to roll Ross out in a Land Rover.
I thought about buying a Land Rover long time ago. because I love them. I mean, dude, there's something about that. Again, I'm a Jeep guy, so there's something about the
boxiness. You like the boxiness?
No. I tell you what it is, Travis. It's fake. It's fake. What it is I like that idea that if I want to, I can jump the curb and go off-roading. I never do. Never do. But it's the idea that the car looks like it's rough enough to do it.
You're not like our good buddy Mick, Jeep stud, who he off-roads.
Actually
right?
going out and climbing boulders and stuff like that. No. I just want the look of it. How stupid is that?
No, I don't think it's that stupid.
It's pretty dumb. It's pretty vain.
A masculine. It may be vain, but vanity's not a bad thing, and you want some of that masculinity. Like,
is that what it is? I'm borrowing the masculinity from my vehicle?
I don't have the
testosterone running, so I just pay for it.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that do that, right? Like, there's a Dodge Challenger that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, do I get it? I've always wanted a sports car. But here's my little. I look at the specs and I'm like, oh, it's only a V6. If it's not a V8, I don't want it. I don't want it because it doesn't go as fast. Like I would try to go 150 miles an hour anyway. Yeah. But it doesn't have the big engine in it.
Here's what the Jeep has a Hemi in it. Okay, and that thing growls. It growls. It's something I don't even notice. But my car buddies, they get in there like, oh man, I like the way this thing growls. Okay.
What are you talking about? I just hit the push button start and I drive. I don't hear the growl.
Yeah. It's real easy. You move this little thing till it says D, and then you hit the gas pedal. It growls at you.
Very simple. Drake went on the road last night, wrapped up the Missouri Valley Conference regular season title. It's now, with one game to play, it's over. Drake will be the number one seed in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. They get a win over Evansville 65-61. Tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, scheduled to join us will be Drake head coach Ben McCollum. Anxious to talk to him really for the first time. And just meeting the expectations in year number one. But I think it's safe to say, Ross, bringing in a brand new team, a lot of unknowns, this has been an unbelievable year, unexpected year maybe for Drake. Maybe not unexpected for Ben McCollum and the players. Maybe they knew something. But I think there was a lot of hesitation with fans, with us going, what can you do when you rebuild a team with Division II players?
It'd be real easy right now for Ben McCollum to go, we knew it. Last year when we were playing D2 basketball, we were looking around the locker room going, man, we could play mid-majors with this crew. Dude, there had to be a moment in player, in coach, in somebody in that organization that went, are we really going to do this?
Yeah. At what point in the season do you go, we're pretty damn good?
And that's right. Remember early on, Trav, didn't they have, I should pull it up here. I bet I can. Didn't they have a non-con game early on against a Power 5?
They beat Vanderbilt and they beat Miami.
Yeah, beating Vanderbilt and Miami were the games where we were like, that was early on too. Like,
very early.
These dudes can play. We don't even know these guys. They turned over most of the roster. I see a Sturt's name on there. I'm familiar with that. Other than that, who the hell are these dudes? They just beat Miami? They're going down there and they're beating Power 5 teams? That had to be the moment. That'll be an interesting conversation with him to ask. Was there a moment of doubt? Obviously now, maybe it's a little bit easier to go, okay, now that we've won 28 games, I can tell you. Yeah, we had some doubt.
And then you play the mental gymnastics with those Power 5 wins, right? Like, you're on an island, game, you caught them off guard, nobody there. But then they went and beat Kansas State. And then you're like, oh, okay. Stuff's getting real. Now, the reason Drake won the Missouri Valley Conference regular season title is because they were able to win on the road. And you have to be able to win on the road. They were 9-1 in league play on the road, 10-1 in road games this year. That's a phenomenal record. To lose just one road game, and that one road loss came early on against Illinois Chicago. So if you're able to win on the road, protect home court for the most part, they lost to Bradley at home, and they lost to Murray State at home. So they had more losses at home in the Valley than they did on the road.
On the road. Wow.
Yes.
Avenged that UIC loss. Got both of those wins back on the road.
And lost to Bradley at home. Yeah, so lost to Bradley at home.
Yeah. Right. but then won both those games, one at Bradley, one at UIC.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to talk to Coach tomorrow about that. And a fantastic season for them. Really good season for Ben Jacobson and UNI as well. But this is really impressive. Same thing we have talked about with TJ up in Ames, man. To come in and your first year, bring in a group and compete like this is really, really. I don't know. We can't call it special. We've seen it twice. We've seen it twice in 5 years in Iowa. We can't call it special anymore. It's a good job. Really good job. Impressive.
Back-to-back years, Drake has won 26 games. They won 26 a year ago. Here was the one that I was shocked at, is that this is their first outright conference regular season title since 2008, that special 2008 year. And you're like, wow, I thought Darren had won outright titles. He never did.
Really?
He shared titles, but he never won it outright. This is the first outright title for Drake since 2008.
Wow. I'm surprised by that. They've been a better program than to have that hang over their head. I wouldn't have guessed it'd been nearly 20 years. Well, what would you say? It was 2008, so we're coming up on 16, 17 years since they won it. Wow.
Now, the big question is, are they able to hang on to Ben McCollum? Because he's going to be sought after. You don't win 26 games. You don't make a turn. You don't take over a program like that and not have somebody knocking at your door. Because when you're the hot name, people are going to come after you. And the truth is, if a Power 5 comes after you, it's going to be life-changing money. I mean, really life-changing money. Not that Drake doesn't pay a lot, but there's other people out there who can pay a lot more. And how do you deflect those as you're coaching, right? I mean, it's like, because you know the agent's calling or somebody's calling and going, hey, what's your interest here?
Hey, your phone's ringing.
Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot. Now's the time. Not trying to shoo him out, but I'm a realist when it comes to this. There's a reason Keno Davis left after 1 year, because the money was just too big. But when you're a program like Drake and a mid-major, this is going to happen. A guy like Ben Jacobson, who they got a win last night against UIC, beat him 74-52, got 20 wins on the season. I think it's his 10th time in his career that UNI's won 20 games. UNI will now play Bradley this weekend, and that's a winner-take-second seed. So they're either going to be the second seed or they're going to be the third seed.
Which matters in St. Louis.
It does. Now, it would set up a semifinal match between those two again, but you still have something to play for. You want to be that number 2 seed. And Drake has one home game left, too. They're going to end up against Missouri State, which, this would be Missouri State's last Missouri Valley Conference regular season game. Is they're going to a different – as football goes up, they're going to go to a different league. It'd be weird not to have Missouri State in the Missouri Valley Conference. Just look at the landscape of how that conference has changed, right? I mean, when I'm coming up, it's Wichita. When I was young, it was
Creighton,
Tulsa,
right.
Wichita State, Creighton, now and the former Southwest Missouri State, now Missouri State. But all those schools are gone. They're going to be gone. So the landscape has changed quite a bit. But just look at that. I mean, Drake with 26 wins, Northern Iowa with 20 wins, Iowa State with 20-plus wins. What a phenomenal year of basketball in the state.
I almost said, who's the odd man out? Who we missing?
I was the odd man out. And I think it's safe to say, I'm not saying Iowa can't beat Northern Iowa or Drake, but when you have to mark them down and go, okay, I'm going to go Iowa State is the best team in the state.
Hands down.
Drake number 2 because it beat Northern Iowa twice. Northern Iowa, then Iowa. That's where I rank them. I don't think
many people in the state could push back on that, Trav. I don't think you have many Iowa fans that would vehemently argue against that. I mean, there's just not a lot of proof in the pudding there to say that Iowa is a better team than both those. It'd be a good fun basketball game, I'm sure. It'd be competitive basketball. And if you played those games 10 times, maybe it would be 500 between the two of them. That's where you are.
Yeah.
That's where you are. Ben McCollum showed up, 9-10 months ago?
Yeah.
How has he made the connection to the community? Travis, we've never talked to Ben. We've never talked to Coach McCollum. How has he connected with this fan base in that way that they're like somebody pointed in the chat earlier, said, hey, last night, Evansville, who has 10 wins on the season, they got more people in. It looked better than Carver Hawkeye Arena last night at the Knapp Center. Where was the game, I guess?
It was at Evansville. It was at the Ford Center, I believe is what they call it.
How has Ben McCollum been able to, again, that word that I've been stuck on, connect with the fan base in 9 months? He's got people showing up dressing like him. There's this entire... Is it just winning?
I think it's just... I don't know, and you would know better than I don't know if he's connected with the fan base. Winning definitely helps, but when you have a cute little kid dress up like you and people follow suit, that's where... I don't know if he's necessarily made that connection as much as other people have helped him make a connection with the community. You're like, all right, we're going to put on a white shirt and a blue tie.
The connection is there. Whatever that is, however you want to say it, he's done something there that Fran has struggled to do. He's got people excited about showing up for basketball games. He's winning. I mean... Winning cures all. It cures a lot, man.
Winning cures all. There's no doubt about it.
Is that, I mean, when I say Ben McCollum has connected with the fan base, am I really just saying, hey, he's won?
He's won. And when you win...
It's easy to love somebody when they win. And then Steve Prohm. And then they lose, and we go, yeah, that guy, you won the right guy. Get him out of here. Next guy in. Let's go.
You know, I think it's his look. I think it's fans dressing up like him, and that creates a connection. It's almost like fans have created the connection more than Ben McCollum has created the connection, which isn't a bad thing.
Either way.
And I think he's embraced it.
Right. So let's just say that it's the fans that have built that bridge. Is that because of winning? Or is it because... You know, I hate to call it the gimmick of the white shirt, blue tie, because it's not that.
It's not his gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. I don't mean it that way, but that's something. It's something that lets people. It makes you a recognizable. When the little kid shows up wearing the white shirt and blue tie, everybody goes, "Oh, he's dressed up like Coach. That's cool. That's cute. That's awesome." And then all of a sudden, the student section is showing up dressed like him. Simple. White shirt, blue tie. Everybody knows what. He didn't have to. They didn't have to run a marketing campaign.
No, it was organic.
Like Coach. Yeah, exactly. That which is what made it neat and gets it on the news and gets us talking about it and sharing it on. It's not the D+ campaign with some. I won't even say it.
And you know what? Organic campaigns that are started by little kids are always the best. Because it's easy to jump on. It wasn't manufactured. You know when something's manufactured. You're like, you're trying a little too hard here. Where he kind of stands out with the white shirt, blue tie is ever since COVID, most coaches have gone the Bob Huggins route, right? A lot of coaches don't wear suits anymore because during COVID, they were like, there's nobody here. We're not going to dress up. And that was like the excuse they needed. So am I, 100%.
Totally okay with a coach out there wearing Nikes and comfortable pants and a shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to be in a suit all the time.
I think TJ looks great. Polo, dress pants, tennis shoes. You look like a basketball coach.
I mean, that's almost his brand. The Schmedium is TJ's brand. Yeah. But you're right. If it was anybody else, you'd be like, But he was like that from day one.
Yeah, if
changed.
TJ showed up wearing a white button-down shirt and a red tie, we'd go, TJ looks funny today. He didn't look normal.
He would look funny in a suit, right? Kind of just stocky guys in suits. You're like, you're busted. You can't wear a Schmedium suit. You know, a suit cannot be too tight.
When you say stocky guy in a suit, you know what image goes to my head? And this is going to piss off a lot of people. Alex Jones. It's like he's busting out of everything he wears. I gotta tell you some stuff. Let me tell you about the deep state. Conspiracy theory alert. Here we go. My face is really red. The blood vessels are breaking out of my neck. I'm afraid if I stuff one more marshmallow in my mouth, this suit's just going to explode. When you said stocky guy in a suit, that was the image I had right away. They look like they can't quite move around. That'd be... So TJ does the right thing.
Yes.
Looks comfy.
But Ben McCollum does the right thing because
looks comfy.
I always say
natural.
this. When we go to interviews on jobs, when we have to interview for jobs, and so I work for a general contractor, and a lot of times we have to go interview before we are awarded the job. They're like, what do we wear? Do we wear a sport coat? I go, I want you to wear what you're comfortable in. I said, don't wear jeans. That's a little sloppy.
Yeah.
But I said, if you don't feel comfortable in a suit, you're going to look uncomfortable.
Exactly
I go, just wear something that you feel is somewhat professional, and just so you can be yourself and feel comfortable in your own skin. And like, because you know how many people don't want to wear a suit coat? Because a lot of people don't even own a suit coat. So they'll be like, I don't even, the last time I wore this was my wedding. Yeah, you probably don't want to wear it now. Probably don't want to wear it now. Cole says Fran should try the tight shirt look. Maybe the players will bite. No, Fran looks good in his quarter zip.
Fran looks like he should because he looks like he's dressing for what he's comfortable in.
Yes.
He's always looked that way. I'm okay with it.
By the way, in Iowa wins the quarter zip game. I don't know if any team has better quarter zips than the University of Iowa.
On me. There you are.
I'm right here.
There you are.
And there are some where you just want to go, I want that quarter zip. They have this yellow one that I'm like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. Speaking of Fran, CBSSports.com came out with a list yesterday, Ross, of coaches that are on the extreme hot seat. And there were 17 coaches on there, but they didn't put Fran on the hot seat. And I shared the story on our X account, which is at Rush Mornings. But the sun is starting to set seat. They didn't want to say hot seat. Almost like they know Iowa wouldn't fire him, but maybe it's time to ride off into the sunset and suggest retirement. I think Thad Matta was in that, and I think there was one more coach in the sun is setting category.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know what, but this is a hard one, Travis, because the seat it should qualify as the seat is hot. It should qualify as the sun is setting. This is it. If I'm giving an expert analysis and an opinion is needed in that piece, the opinion is Fran McCaffery's done. The energy's gone. The apathy's at an all-time high. You've got a guy that is the all-time winningest coach at a school, and what's his legacy? I've never experienced this in my life. This guy's going to go down as the all-time winningest coach, and fans will be okay with him walking away. They're just it's gonna be like, man, thanks for the time.
Appreciate everything you did.
I hate this because I like Fran McCaffery. I think he seems like a really fun guy to be around. I really do. We've talked to him a few times. You get this impression of like, this is a guy's guy. This is a fun dude to be around. Jason Willis has told us this. When he's at the Coaches versus Cancer and he gets a chance to meet these guys, Fran's a little bit different. Fran's different than the other three guys that are all Iowa dudes. This guy's an East Coast guy, but man, once you get that wall to come down, you realize he's just a dude like everybody else. Been through troubles. Wants his kids to be healthy and happy. He's just like all of us. I like Fran. It's time for him to go. And it's weird when I project out 10 years from now. I almost asked a caller this yesterday when we were talking about Fran. Like, just stop right now for a moment and project out 5, 7, 10 years from right now, okay? And we have a ceremony for Fran McCaffery back at Hilton Coliseum. Or, I'm sorry, at Carver Hawkeye Arena. You have a ceremony for him. You bring him back and you say, hey, the all-time winningest coach in Iowa basketball history, folks, Fran McCaffery. What's your feeling that day? What do you say to your kids or your grandkids or somebody who says, oh, you watched the greatest coach in Iowa basketball history, Dad? What was that like? What's your answer?
Average.
Yeah. You're not going to be like, oh, dude, let me tell you about the glory days. We had the best player in the country, and we made it to the NCAA tournament. Let me tell you about the glory days, man. We used to go to the Big Ten tournament and compete.
We even won it a couple times.
We'd actually play a couple of games. Sometimes we'd play a couple games.
So, this is a conversation for next hour. In your mind, what are the glory days for Iowa, and what are the glory days for Iowa State? Are these the glory days for?
These are the glory days for Iowa State.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, we're watching them right now. For Iowa, you got to go back a long ways, man.
Lute Olson, Tom Davis,
Lute Olson, George Raveling, Tom Davis. The '80s when you were really competitive on that big scale
and relevant.
Great word.
515-517-2303. Gary Presnall going to join us just after 7 o'clock. Bruno in the studio with us at 7:30. Good to have you along on a Thursday morning. It is The Rush Radio Show at therushladio.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Land Rover Des Moines. Just wanted to say it's February, so I invite you to come in and fall in love with a Land Rover. We've got over 43 of them in stock and 2.9% financing on select vehicles. You'll never find a better time to fall in love with something just like this. So call, click, or visit us at LandRoverDesMoines.com or stop down in the showroom and see one in person. You'll be glad you did.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Hi, I'm John Linares, Sales Manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Number 2 of the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. Happy Thursday. It's powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the stream at therushradio.com, or those of you testing the app, thank you so much. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. Give this video a like, leave your comments, set your notifications so you know when we go live. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings, like our Facebook page, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and of course you can follow us on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. Ross Peterson wearing his The Rush t-shirt. I like that, man.
Our buddy Frank, our listener, one of my buddies, Frank, got a real estate client. Frank is all the things. Listener, friend, high school buddy.
I got a shirt.
Client.
I got a shirt. I like the shirt.
Yeah? What's wrong with it?
Frank must have thought I was a fat dude. I was fatty. I was fatty. When did Frank really... Well, he sent me a XXL. And my wife took it out of the package. She's like, yeah, this ain't going to fit.
It's funny because we were at the barrel-aged brunch, and my buddy Christian, who's also a listener, Christian was actually the one that was like, oh, you're going to have to get Travis a 2X. And I said... No. Travis has lost a lot of weight. He's not 2X anymore. And these guys were adamant. Yeah, and they've both seen you. They're like, yeah, Travis is a 2X. We know how big he is. Great. It was really, and I'll give Frank this out. It was Christian who pushed it. Christian was like, oh yeah, he's a 2X.
And Frank, he says, I'll send you another one. Don't send me another one. And not that I don't want it. I don't want you to go through that process of doing that. What we did is, because there was some like instructions to like, because it came right off the printer because it had a little stink to it. So we washed it in like boiling hot water. So we're trying to shrink it down. So Frank, no need to send me another one because I don't want you to go through that expense or that hassle. I'm going to wear it. I'm just got to shrink it up a little bit.
It's funny because when Frank sent me a text one day and he was like, dude, I sent you those T-shirts. They stink. I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. So, but the shirt looks good on you. It looks really good. We need, I'm telling you, we need to get it. We get a merch shop. A merch shop would be coming.
What was the line we had the other day? I'm not dumb, I'm learning. I think that's a good one.
It is. Quotes to live by the Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not dumb. I'm learning.
I'm just learning.
Maybe we just get one now that says fatty on it. If you want to know what we're talking about fatty, go back and listen to the replay. A lot of things about fatty.
Hey, I was hoping we'd hear from Presnall. Is Gary not been able to hop on the link yet?
No, he's not hopped on yet.
Well, I know he was planning on it because we were texting this morning. So maybe he got a mortgage call early this morning and is helping somebody.
Gary, I need to close today. I need $350,000 now. What's the fastest closing you've ever done? Have you ever done
what's the fastest?
Yeah.
Well, when you have a cash buyer, they don't. It doesn't have to be financed, it can be done in about 10 days. So you could write an offer today and say, we'd like to close on this the first week of March, and a guy like Gary Presnall could get it done. Now, if it's a cash deal, though, I shouldn't say a guy like Gary Presnall. Press has probably done some of those, but for the most part, that's just an attorney that closes that down for you.
Just get it to a title company. Let's change titles, and here's your money.
Can be fast. Yep. At the end of the year, things get funky because you got people doing 1031 tax exchanges, and so then that last couple weeks of the year can be fun.
Ross, I don't. Michigan State has to come to Iowa and play the Hawkeyes yet, and I don't know if you saw this last night at Maryland, but this was Michigan State tied at 55 with Maryland. Maryland misses a three-pointer. Watch a three-quarter court. Boom. Good.
Incredible.
Just an incredible play.
That is the stuff that, again, especially in a fifth. Look at all those surrender cobras in the background, dude. Did you see every single Maryland fan is like, no way.
That thing's just right on line. And Tom Izzo talks about, at the end of every practice, we practice that. No, you jack around at the end of practice. That's what you're doing. You're jacking around. You don't really think that's going to come into play. That's not like, hey, let's practice this. Nobody even guarded him. Just right on line.
What's the percentage of that going in? It gave me 3% of those go in, it seems like. You take half-court shots, halftime, end of halftime, end of game. We get a lot of chucks like that, man. Very rarely do they find their way in.
You know what I'd be interesting to find out? What is the odds of going in? I bet it's more in game situations than on your own. Because think about it, you're not thinking at that point. You're you're in rhythm. You let it go in rhythm.
Good point.
It's probably more natural. When you line up to say, hey, let's all have our half-court shot, you're thinking about it.
I wonder how serious he is about that. Yeah, we practice those half-court shots. There would be something of like, hey, we need to know who has the best chance of making this. We want to know when we get into those situations, who's our best half-court heaver.
Yeah, but you don't always get it determined like in that situation. The rebound just kind of
right.
It's in your hands.
And
let
even
it go.
The guy that makes it the most impressive. Anyway, I don't know. Overthinking it here.
Maryland coach was like, guy had made a shot all night. As soon as it left his hands, it's one of those shots. Let's look at it again. I'll see if I can run it back. But
dude, when you run it back, watch the people in the background. It's amazing how many surrender cobras you see.
And then watch as soon as it leaves his hands, you go, yeah, that's in. This is incredible. Watch this. Boom, boom, three-quarter court. Follow through everything. And
watch the background here when it cuts to this next scene. Everybody in the background has that look right there. Watch this. Look at that.
It's like, everybody's like, I cannot believe that just happened. What the hell just happened there? Oh, man. But you know what? That gets you fired up for March Madness. It really does. Because doesn't matter who makes those plays, you could watch those all the time. Just on replay. I bet I've watched that like 20 times already this
They're fun. That's a dream come true as a kid. It is the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded grand slam thing. It's the Joe Carter moment to hit a shot like that.
And you'll go down in like Michigan State history as the guy that won the game. And there's a lot of history at Michigan State, but that'll be one. We'll remember that one. I think that was their first buzzer beater for Michigan State. I think they said since 2010. So they haven't had a buzzer beater since 2010, which means we think they happen a lot. It is. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I always had a lot of them because we don't blow anybody out.
Iowa women got a win last night. They beat Michigan 79-66, improved to 19-9 on the year, 9-8 in the Big Ten Conference. Sydney Falter with 24 points, Lucy Olson with 20. The other story out of Big Ten women's basketball, and this is an interesting story. Back in January when the wildfires hit California, Northwestern made a decision to what they thought was right and go, we're not going to go. We're going to be respectful and not. Keep in mind, the games weren't canceled. The games were not postponed. So they said, you know what? Out of respect, we're not going to go. Well, they can't reschedule these games because they were supposed to go to USC and UCLA. And the Big Ten Conference announced, you forfeited those games. They were not postponed. They were not canceled. They were scheduled to take. It wasn't like the entire city of LA was burning. Now, it was made to believe that because they were devastating wildfires. a lot of damage. But the Lakers, I think, took one night off, but then went back to work because that's what they had to do. You kind of got to play the games. What do you think of the Big Ten? Northwestern, like, we understand and respect the rules, but listen, if they said come, you should probably go.
Right. It's easy. You don't get to. I mean, that old Jamie Pollard line, man. Sometimes you find out who's in charge of what. Northwest, you absolutely had the right to make that decision. You had the control of whether or not to send your team there, and you guys decided not to do that. The conference now gets to make the decision on what that punishment is or what the ramifications of that are. You don't get to. You're not in charge of that part of this conversation.
Let's put ourselves in this Okay, what do you think the reaction would be from Iowa fans if Iowa would have said, "Well, we're not going to go out west because of the wildfires," and then the Big Ten comes back and says, "Well, we're going to forfeit these games."
Like all things, Travis, you'd get the entire spectrum of opinions. You'd have people that say, good. You'd have people that say, I'm glad we didn't go. Safety of the players is number one. That's our top priority. And you'd have people that would go, good. I was a bunch of sissies that didn't go out there and cancel the game. That's a forfeit. You'd have people all over the board on that. I'm sure like you do with Northwestern fans right now. I'm sure there are people that are on all sides of it.
Well, Northwestern has 2 Big Ten wins, so they're probably going, well, let's not go play the number 1 and number 3 teams in the country. We're going to get our ass kicked anyway. Northwestern deep down is going, we saved ourselves some money by not flying out there. But it's no fun to forfeit. Yeah, it's no fun to forfeit games, but you don't get to say, well, we respect and honor the rule, not necessarily we agree with it. Well, you could have got on the plane just to go out and play.
Made your bed, now lie in it.
Yes.
And again, you had the right to do that. I don't fault you for that. Again, you were going to go out there and get your ass kicked anyway and spend a bunch of money to do so. Conference is going to pay you a ton of money at the end of this thing. And so now the conference gets to say, hey, since you didn't follow our rules and you didn't go out there and play that game and you kind of took some money away from that school because they didn't get to sell concessions and tickets and all that. Yeah, you guys, you don't get to make the decision on this.
Jamie Pollard was speaking to Iowa State students, and the Iowa State Daily showed up to write a story on it. And students got to ask Jamie Pollard a lot of questions. And one of the subjects that came up was alcohol at Jack Trice Stadium and Hilton Coliseum. And I'm going to read a couple of these quotes because I thought it was interesting. And I need to preface this by saying I think Jamie Pollard is one of the top 3 athletic directors in the country. I think Jamie Pollard has developed a culture at Iowa State that has lasted, that sticks, and is why the athletic department is so successful. He's very candid. He always has been very candid. Now, I don't necessarily always agree with him. On the subject of alcohol, here are some of the quotes. It's a much more complicated issue than most people even realize. There are a whole host of issues servicing that. The stadium is not set up for it. If you think the lines are long today and the concourses get blocked by people now, add beer to it and you aren't walking through it. I don't disagree with that, but it's, Nebraska is going to start selling alcohol at Memorial Stadium this year. They've never had alcohol. They're finding a way to get it done because they want to sell alcohol. They think it's going to be a revenue driver. He goes, my second reason, and this is a quote, is behavioral issues. I get to see what our police department deals with post-game. People are slobs. People are flat-out slobs, and that's without selling alcohol. Thoughts on that?
Lots of thoughts on this. I don't think that I'm going to agree with a lot of people here, okay?
Okay.
What Jamie Pollard did there was the same thing that John Higgins did on our show 2 days ago. I heard it as the exact same thing. Man, he's being honest, and he's saying that quiet part out loud. We want people to be honest with us. We want people to be transparent. We want them to be vulnerable and tell us what they're really thinking so that we have an idea of where they're coming from. And then the minute they do it, we all go, well, wait a minute, you think that? Jamie Pollard's not wrong about anything. The only thing that Jamie Pollard said that he was wrong about is the stadium's not set up for it. the stadium's not set up for it because, in my opinion, from what I've seen up there, because I've been to concerts where they sell beer, they don't set it up the right way. There's nothing physical about Jack Trice Stadium that prevents beer sales. It's they don't have enough point of sales to actually accommodate it when they do it.
And if you want, where it may not be set up is if you want to run keg lines, right? If you wanted to do, that's a different story. But you could sell cans.
Yeah, it's a different schematic that you have to set up, which they could do if they really were interested about it. Jamie Pollard's never wanted to do that because of the second thing that he says that I'm not going to push back on. I would defend him saying, hey, we as a collective are slobs, right? So here's why what Jamie Pollard said was the same thing as what John Higgins said. And again, this is one of the things, it sucks to hear this, but it's true. We don't all get treated the same. Well, not all the animals on the farm get treated the same. The star player gets different calls than the 10th guy off the bench. When you donate a bunch of money, you get treated differently than when you show up. And you might not like that. It's the way it is. And this has been, I remember a conversation with Jamie Pollard during a Cy-Hawk week when we were doing RVTV. This was 15 years ago when this conversation was very first starting about, hey, maybe alcohol sales is something we could do inside the stadium. Jamie said at that time, I remember this conversation. He said, I've seen the police blotter. No way. No way. You should see what our PD deals with on a Saturday afternoon. No way in hell are we putting beer in everybody's hands down there. Now, if we do it in a small place like they do it at Jack Trice Stadium, it's more controlled. And quite frankly, most of the people in there are conscious of their image. They're going to go in there going, okay, I'm going to be around some heavy hitters. I'm going to be around some people who my image matters to. I'm going to mind my P's and Q's. I'm not going to get drunk and obliterated and pass out and make an ass of myself. Do you think that I've been the dude sitting in section 101 passed out? I've been that guy.
Because you got drunk outside.
He got hammered. I'm doing chugs of apple pie in the parking lot and then don't make it to the first quarter. So I don't blame Jamie Pollard. This is what we don't like it when people tell us the truth, man. And Jamie yesterday said that quiet part out loud, just like John Higgins. He said, hey, by the way, you guys know that not everybody gets treated the same, right? And we all go, wow, what?
Well,
pay attention.
And that leads me into his third point that he made, where I disagree with Jamie, and I'm a little disappointed in Jamie, in his honesty. He goes, number 3, I'm not convinced that people that buy our seats at the stadium actually really want it. They don't want drunk slob behind them spilling beer on them because they haven't had their first beer ever. He goes, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Jamie Pollard thinks. It's not my call. It's the president's call and the police chief's call. If you can't refrain from drinking for 3.5 hours from the game, then don't come to the game. I don't care. What I disagree with is he's wrong, and he knows he's wrong. If Jamie Pollard wanted alcohol and made the financial case, it would happen. It's not the president. He's right. The president has the overall discretion here, but if you presented the case to the president, Jamie Pollard would get what he wanted. Okay?
I see.
That's a fact. And don't tell me this. Then take away alcohol from the people get treated differently. Then take away the alcohol in the suck-up end zone. Take away the alcohol in the suites because you're treating people differently.
You are.
Right?
But again, Travis, we're all okay with this when we're the ones that are treated differently.
100%.
We're all okay with it if we're the ones in the suck-up end zone. When we're on the outside looking in, we go, come on, this isn't fair. I don't get treated like those guys. No, you don't. No, you don't. And that's life. You can think that it's unfair. We've just had 2 descriptions of it in 2 different arenas of the sports world that 2 people in charge told you the same thing. They were honest with you. Said, hey, by the way, this thing that you've noticed, where you think that star players get different calls. They do. This thing that you're noticing where some people at the game get other privileges that other people don't, that's true. And if we opened this up, it would ruin it all. If every player got called the same way, well, then all of a sudden you'd have games where LeBron James was fouling out and Caitlin Clark was done in the third quarter. You don't want that. If we turn beer sales loose, my gut tells me that my people don't want that and that it's going to cause too many problems. So we have to shelter that. We have to do that in a place where we trust that the people are going to behave themselves.
Now, they're selling beer at Kinnick Stadium, and I don't think it was a major problem.
They've made that decision over there, and it doesn't seem to be an issue, and I haven't seen the police. So I think that's the facts that you present back to Jamie Pollard. Say, I understand you don't want to do this, but you think that this thing is going to happen, and you've thought for a long time that by turning beer sales loose, we're going to open Pandora's box. I think that if you really wanted, the debater in me, the Oren Claff, figuring out the conversation here. Here's the right play. You have to appeal to Jamie Pollard's sense of community, okay? And you have to appeal to him and say you have to start trusting Cyclone fans. You got it. We're a better group than you're giving us credit for. We understand that there's some high school kids that get arrested out there, and the police blotter looks nasty. Trust these people who have helped build this machine with you. A lot of them want to drink. A lot of them obviously don't. I don't think he's making that up when he says, I have people that say they don't want to have drunks around them at the stadium. I have a feeling he's had that said to him a lot.
It's one of those things. The only place I was disappointed, it was when he passed the buck to the president and the police chief, because you're almost like, well, it doesn't matter if I want it. Well, you just basically said you don't want it. Say, I don't want it, and I'm not going to give the proposal to the president and the police chief.
Which he's usually done. Jamie has usually done that, stood up and said, hey, buck stops here, and I'm the one that's making this decision, and I don't want it because of the safety issues and the perception. I don't want people coming here from other schools, and their perception of Ames is a bunch of drunk kids.
And people ask, are they going to have alcohol in Chi-Town? Yes, they are, because there's going to be restaurants and bars. So you're going to be able to drink in a restaurant and a bar in Chi-Town. And then you're going to be able to walk to the stadium.
I saw somebody put a thing up the other day that said, hey, for all of you that are really pissed at Jamie Pollard for this statement, in a couple of years, there's going to be a statue of Jamie Pollard. And you're going to be able to stand on top of a rooftop bar inside Chi-Town, sipping a beer while you admire that statue of Jamie Pollard.
And that's why I led into this saying I think he's one of the top 3 athletic directors in the country. When he deflected, I was like, boy, that's uncharacteristic of Jamie Pollard. Before we take a break, we got about 4 minutes left in this segment, but Gary Presnall is joining us. I was getting worried.
No, I've been on. I missed a step and I didn't enter into the studio. So I'm technology challenged, I think.
It's okay. As long as you can still loan money out, that's all that really matters to me.
We got a lot of money. So.
Hey, UNI got a nice win last night. They're going to play for the second seed. And what is your connection to UNI basketball? Ross was telling me about that earlier.
Well, I graduated from the University of Northern Iowa and played college baseball up there. And then my brother is Ben Jacobson, one of Ben Jacobson's good friends. And so that's really my connection. And I've known Ben through my brother for, last 20 years or so.
Yeah, a lot of people are familiar with your brother and UNI basketball. He's been that's been a close connection with the family.
Yeah, it has. He actually puts on a fundraiser for Ben's basketball team at Aubas. And Ross, you've played in that last couple years.
Last couple years, been lucky enough. Been invited by my friend Gary Presnall.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a way that my brother's been able to give back to the university and just the friendship that they have there. So anyway, yeah, he's just trying to help UNI advance their basketball team.
Gary, you're
Now,
an Iowa guy, right? I'm sorry, Trav. You had
No,
something
no,
there. Fire away,
no,
because
after
you
you,
need to get
after
to
you.
know Gary.
No. I know he's an early riser. I think he emailed me like 3:30 this morning. What the hell is Gary emailing me at 3:30 in the morning for?
Yeah, I actually get up really early, obviously, and I am studying for my master's in theology, and so every waking moment that I can get, I'm spending reading, writing papers, and so that takes the vast majority of any extra time that I have.
You're a better man than me. I'm never going back to school. I'm never going back to school, ever.
I started writing papers. I haven't written a paper in 40 years.
Are you really? Are you legitimately still writing, Gary? Or when you say writing papers, you mean you're typing them?
Yeah, it's a combination. Okay. I kind of write it and then type it, and so I'm kind of old school. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Travis, I told you a little bit about this because Gary was a big part of my trek through Portugal and Spain, and partly because he's such an early riser and the theology thing that he's talking about. So, Gary, I get a text message from Gary. It's not necessarily every morning, but I'm a part of this group that Gary sends text messages to, and it's usually a Bible verse and then some sort of lesson from it. Trav, the amount of conversation that I got with our friends on the Camino from those text messages, man, it was awesome. So, Gary, thanks a lot for including me on that, man. You sparked a lot of really wonderful conversations.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in God's Word, and so I'll dive into a verse, and then I'm going to put the verse on that text, and then we're going to, I'm just going to kind of break it down and what does it say, what does it mean, and what does it mean to us on a daily.
What's the group you help out with now, Gary? Because I know you're a part of you were a part of Sheepsgate for a while, and now you're a part of which organization?
Part of the Refuge.
The Refuge
is it's a faith-based organization that it's trying to help guys, in this particular case, guys with addictions, drinking, drugs, pornography, whatever the addiction is.
I'm going to have to check in.
Yeah. We all need to check in, believe me. Because we all struggle with something. We all deal with something. It doesn't matter who we are.
I think you hit all three for me.
Yeah.
Bress, we had some good news, man. Rates are starting to drop. I mean, into your world of mortgages here, that was it's fun to see things sliding in the right direction here.
Yeah, it is. I really think the market was kind of looking for what we're going to do with our deficit. Our deficit is a significant albatross around this country's neck, and I think the market was really looking for what the new administration was going to do with trying to reduce debt, and I think you're starting to see some of that. What they're doing is helping ease the mind of Wall Street, and I think we're starting to see some reduction in rates.
All right, Gary, we got to take a break, so we do want to invite you back sometime. You're welcome on the show anytime, and we thanks for doing that. And we got to get Ross overseas to do another Camino.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with him.
That'd be great.
I think you guys would have fun. All right, Gary, we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Okay.
See you, buddy.
Gary Presnall joining us. That's who Ross uses, right? That's who you take all your buyers to?
Oh, yeah. Gary's fantastic. In fact, we should have asked him this because I don't want to speak for him. He does a ton of loans. Gary is one of the most prolific lenders in Central Iowa.
You can tell by the tie. I mean, the tie says,
tie
says I'm successful.
He's got it together. He's a really impressive guy, fun dude to be around. Honorable man, admirable guy, fun to be around, wonderful to talk to. I've had great conversations with Gary over the years.
Bruno joins us next on the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Land Rover Des Moines. Just wanted to say it's February, so I invite you to come in and fall in love with a Land Rover. We've got over 43 of them in stock and 2.9% financing on select vehicles. You'll never find a better time to fall in love with something just like this. So call, click, or visit us at LandRoverDesMoines.com or stop down in the showroom and see one in person. You'll be glad you did.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the champagne of bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage and Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage and Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage and Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Hi, I'm John Linares, sales manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. Click that listen live link. You'll be able to hear the live stream. If you miss us going live, you can always listen to the replay. Running 24/7. Actually, 22/7. Well, 24/7 on the weekends, depending on how you look at it. Trying to do my public school math. You can also find the podcast episodes at therushradio.com.
Hey, let me ask you to clarify something that's been happening in the chat here. Okay?
Okay.
Because some people were talking about Gene Hackman died, and did you post in there that he didn't die?
Well, you know, the thing was Gene Hackman passed away. I'm like, Gene Hackman didn't pass away. When your wife and your dog are dead in the house too, you didn't pass away. There's no foul play expected, but this isn't going to have a good ending.
Okay, hold on. I got a lot of questions. I know Bruno's waiting to hop in here. Maybe Bruno can be a part of this conversation here. Doesn't passed away just mean died?
Yes, but when I hear pass away, you went quietly in your sleep. You passed away of natural causes. I know he was 95, but when you add the dead wife and the dead dog, doesn't something else go through your mind? Like, I don't know, murder, suicide, something? Maybe I'm a stickler on the names.
I guess I just thought passed away meant you died.
It does, but
you're saying you hear it more like if somebody says that they were murdered, that means something. That means you were murdered.
A suicide to me is different than passing away.
That word means something. To you,
it means something.
Away means kind of natural causes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting that you'd break it down that way. Huh. Some
Bruno,
people would say Bruno's not lit. Some people would say Bruno's in the dark.
Some would say Bruno, he's Van Gogh with the art table in the back.
Oh, look at that. That's you got the easel.
Do you know you're on with us?
Well, yeah, but you didn't have me. You weren't letting me chime in about passing away and dying, so I didn't know if I was on yet.
So you turned the lights off because you thought.
So you turned the lights off?
No, right before we hooked up, my stupid thing went off. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so far ahead of things today.
It's not like you didn't know you were coming on today.
I love this. Hey, what about carbon monoxide poisoning? Does that seem?
Yeah,
like
that's what I was. That's what I was thinking.
Some people have said that.
Yeah, we'll see.
And authorities are not suspecting. Again, I'm just reading. I didn't pay attention to any of this stuff, but Moose says authorities aren't suspecting foul play.
No, they're not.
The body was
now
found
foul play to me is somebody broke in and murdered you. When I first saw it, my first thought was, oh, wife and dog is dead. They decided it was time to go and they took things into their own hands. That's not passing away.
I love how Travis reads between the lines. That's really good.
But that's just my opinion.
Because when you hear foul play, that means breaking and entering and...
Yes.
Huh.
What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie? Because there's a lot of good ones. Gene Hackman... Hoosiers?
Hoosiers
right up.
Ahead,
Unforgiven is mine. Unforgiven is... I mean...
Dude.
Coach Norman Dale is dead at 95.
95.
I thought I read that his wife found him dead.
Only thing I've read was that the wife and dog were dead as well. But again, no, I'm not the authority on this. Mine's going to be weird, Trav. When you say Gene Hackman, honestly, Bruno, Hoosiers was not the first one that came to mind. It's probably third. When I was a kid, we had Stars and Encore. We couldn't afford HBO and Cinemax and the good stuff, so we got the $1 a month Stars, and they would play Poseidon Adventure on repeat. So I saw Poseidon Adventure all the time when I was a kid. And then in the 90s, that Will Smith movie, Enemy of the State. That was always a great Gene Hackman movie to me.
I don't know if Gene Hackman was ever in anything bad. I mean, he was Lex Luthor in the original Superman.
Wow. Yeah, he was.
Yes. Ned Beatty was in that.
He's gone.
But I was bummed when I saw that this morning. And because I didn't know he was 95. I knew he was old, but it was like one of those things you're like, wow, Gene Hackman is 95.
I'm not trying to be rude, but I got to pause for a second here because I see this a lot where people are like, oh, so sad. Shocking. No
Not
way.
shocking at 95.
Who's next? The guy was 90. This is what happens. He's 95 years old. I mean, watching his life, watching everyone's life is kind of like watching the Titanic. You know how it's going to end, right?
Well, I don't disagree with that. I do hope, this sounds really bad to me, I do hope it's carbon monoxide because his wife was 63. That's young.
Yeah.
So I do hope it's carbon monoxide. Bruno, you look much better. Good to have you along this morning.
All right. Well, am I in now? Am I going to talk?
You've been in for the last 5 minutes.
I think somebody else, another celebrity died since you guys been talking about it.
Probably.
There's been others. Yeah, that's the problem with celebrities. They keep dying.
Who's the most famous person ever to visit El Bait Shop or High Life Lounge or one of your establishments? And don't say Seaton from the Dan Patrick Show.
Jason Momoa.
I suppose he is, but and his ex-wife too, Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet was there. Wow.
Carl Hungus hung out there. The guy, remember from The Big Lebowski? The actor, I don't know the guy's name. He's from overseas. Who else we've had there? We've had Ken Grossman, the founder of Sierra Nevada.
There you go. Look at that. Big time.
Wow. Look at that. Nick Nurse has been there, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers.
And and even when he was the Energy, but he was less famous then.
That's true. Very, very true.
World champion of the Arena Football League, Dixie Wooten. He's been to the El Bait Shop.
Yeah. Ross's friend, who he said, "Why'd you turn the TV?" He was there.
Oh, Tim Dwight. I kicked Tim Dwight out of High Life Lounge one time.
Mark Gannon.
The guy who played Cliff Clavin from Cheers came to Buzzard Billy's once.
That's probably true. There's so many.
Is that John Ratzenberger? Is that his name, John Ratzenberger?
Yeah, we filmed a movie there with 2 Oscar-winning people. I didn't get to see him at the time. Remember the guy who played the guy in the piano? Forrest Whitaker was there, and then the guy who played in the piano. It was a movie that was filmed in Des Moines right during the time where they were having movies in Iowa for that short brief time.
Yeah.
So that's why Carl Hungus was there.
See?
Who's Carl Hungus?
Yeah, who's Carl Hungus?
He's a porn star in The Big Lebowski. So he's a guy who's, "I'm going to cut off your Johnson." He's the one that says that, I think. He's the one that says, "I'm here to fix the cable." Anyway.
Oh. You kept saying Carl Hungus. I'm like,
it's not really his name. I don't know his name, but it's like a German name or something. Yeah.
And we were typical. We're like, yeah, Carl Hungus. And Ross and everybody like, who is this guy? We don't know who Carl Hungus is, but we'll just go. We'll play along.
It's Carl Hungus movie character is Carl Hungus. Peter Stormer. He was also the electrician in Seinfeld. He was going to move the Frogger game for. Do you guys remember Carl Hungus?
Oh yeah. That
now, if you would have said Roller Girl, I would have said, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
All about that.
Yeah. So I had a friend contact me. He's like, "Hey, we got problems." Neighbor sent me a picture, and it looks like there's a lot of raccoons in my attic. And I guess this came up yesterday. So one of the advertisers on the show, Corey, had been there. He said my buddy said Corey was great. Gave him a nice Google write-up. I highly recommend this guy. We're talking about bats and bugs here.
Yeah.
Corey from Bats and Bugs stopped this morning, climbed on the roof, and found it's no possible egress point for the raccoons to get into his roof. He has a really overdone. He's a former Des Moines school teacher. Chinese. He taught Chinese at Central High.
I think they call it Mandarin now.
Yeah, well, he can speak that. I don't know if they do actually, but anyway.
I think they do.
What?
All right. So the guy who used Bats and Bugs, Corey came out and helped him out.
So anyway, yeah. This is a fourth story here, I guess. No,
it's fun. I like it.
No, the whole thought is that he came out. I was like threw out some suggestions, and he came out and he's like, I gave him 5 stars. Really great,
good,
really great. So we're doing some good out in the world.
At your establishments, we talk about reviews, and I'm being dead serious here. Do you guys worry about like Google reviews? Because what I found in the place of business that I worked at, everybody's like, you got to get Google reviews. Well, I find the people that usually just review are just people who are upset, right? I mean, it's like,
well, and it's always silly. It's always not even the actual that's why we hesitate to do third-party delivery, because it's like, hey, I had food delivered from El Bait Shop and it was all cold, or it was slid to the side or whatever. All the toppings are off the pizza from Fong's. It's like, yeah, you hired a third-party delivery to have it delivered, and then they carried the pizza under their arm like a stack of books, and it's our fault. Or they hung out, they tried to do like 20 places at once in the middle of winter, and your pizza showed up cold. Of course, that stuff sucks. But yeah, you always look up the Google review or the Amazon reviews, like, oh, should I buy this? And they said it's always something like, yeah, it showed up without battery, so I'm giving it 1 star. It's like, but all the other ones are like, this is the most amazing thing. When I got it and it came with batteries, it's exactly what I wanted.
We've had that happen at the real estate office. We had 1-star review, and so we were like, well, what happened there? Like, who got a 1-star review? It turned out that the 1-star review came from a client who hadn't even used us. They had used a different agency and bought a home that listed by one of our agents, and then they didn't like the home, and they were like, hey, you sold me this. It's like, well, you had an agent. We didn't do anything wrong. You didn't even use us. They'd be like, yeah, I'm giving Fongs a 1-star review because I used Pizza Hut and their pizza sucked.
That's why, my wife goes to reviews a lot. I don't. I that's why I kind of like to touch and feel things, and go, okay. And restaurants are hit and miss. You might just have a bad meal at a restaurant. It happens, right? Now, service is a different story. You may have a bad server. I just think an experience is different for everybody, right? And that's why I don't take much stock in reviews.
Well, I mean, some of it's just part of it. It's like I don't get I don't go to a place that's 2-star reviewed, though. I mean, if it's 3.5 or higher, who knows what they're doing? And you know what? Here's the thing: is some people hire Google optimizers, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And get rid of all the bad reviews. Well, so they're lying to you, and you go in and you're like, well, why is this? This was on Guy Fieri TV show, and it's supposed to be great because he showed up. It's like, that's not actually true. There's places that when Man vs. Food was at the High Life, by the time the show aired, one of the places that was in the area was closed by the time they aired. It's just, you just don't know. Yeah. I go by, like Travis says, I'm going out to Omaha, or Travis, you've done this for me. I've got friends coming in to Des Moines. Where would you send them? I listen to that way more.
Yes. Now I will say this. People call me all the time because they know I go to Italy a lot, right? And they're like, where should I eat in Florence? And my answer always is this: anywhere you want, because it's such, I've never had a bad, I'm going to Italy next week. I think my 16th time since 2009. I've never had a bad meal in Italy, ever. And I tried to just do different restaurants. I'm like, oh, hole in the wall, let's go here. And never tried it. And I know people want that recommendation, but I think sometimes, especially when you go overseas, it's like, well, I can tell you, but you can't go wrong. Now, if you're going to somebody's city, I 100% get that, right? And when somebody says, hey, I'm going to Des Moines, where do I go? I go, you got to go to El Bait Shop. Got to go to High Life Lounge. You can't go wrong there. You're going to have the best experience of your life. So that's what we do for you, Bruno.
But what if you wanted really good Asian in Italy?
I'm not going to Italy to eat Asian cuisine, okay? I'm going there to eat Italian food.
Well, actually, they did invent it, so at least the spaghetti part.
Last time I was there, I was in a different part of Florence, and I'm like, I came by like American barbecue. Yeah, I didn't come here to eat American barbecue. I get why.
God. If you're going for a laugh, go to those places that want to show you the American experience. And over in Europe, it's pretty funny. But if you were looking for a really good burger, just wait till you get home.
Exactly.
Oh, because it's a whole nother thing.
You gonna be traveling anytime soon, Bruno? I feel like you got something coming up.
I'm going to visit my parents in Mesa soon. San Diego also. St. Louis.
Be warm.
East St. Louis during the summer. Collinsville.
Like you do. Yeah,
like you do.
Vacationing in East St. Louis.
Last year, or 2 years ago, was Dublin. Last year was Germany. This year, it's going to be St. Louis. So
you got to show the kids the world,
That's right. Well,
a lot of
they'll see the world in East St. Louis.
You will.
We're not going to quite, on our trip, we're taking a car from Phoenix over to San Diego just so we can visit my parents, and why rent a car, then fly, and then rent a car? I thought it'd be a fun drive, Western Arizona. And the thought rolled past me when I was just talking right now. Oh, that's where it's at. I had this. Have you guys seen this whole Mojave Desert thing?
No.
Where somehow I had a snafu here. Somehow they were going through the Mojave Desert. The trains have been going through, and these robbers are stopped. Like they're cutting the lines of the trains, pulling up and stealthily boarding eastbound freight trains, hiding out until they reach a lonely stretch in the Mojave Desert. And then they cut the air brakes, and then they go about stealing up to $2 million of Nike sneakers.
We're going to rob. In the old days, they'd rob the train for the gold. Now they're robbing the train for the sneakers.
Because they want.
How did they know sneakers are on that freight train?
1,985 pairs of unreleased Nikes worth more than $440,000 on this one time. They go for $225 a pair. I mean, that's like getting robbed of your shoes on the sidewalk back in the day. Now you can just get like almost 2,000 pairs all at once.
Wow.
I mean,
you know what the most disappointing part of this conversation is to me? I swear to God, it's not that people are robbing trains in 2025. It's that people will buy a $3 pair of shoes for $250. $250 for a pair of Nikes built in a sweatshop with dollars of material. I don't understand it, dude. Like that contrarian thing that I have in me, it doesn't fly any harder than when people start talking about their Nike tennis shoes. Like they're garbage.
I wear
shoes.
Cariumas is what I wear. The Mike
I have
Valley
no idea what
collection.
that is.
They're made in Brazil, and they every shoe they plant 2 trees. For every shoe that you get, they plant 2 trees in the Amazon rainforest.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
That's because they're doing that.
They showed me pictures of the 2.
Okay.
They showed me a picture of a tree. I bought the shoes. They showed me a picture of a tree.
At this point, I have a forest down there with my name on it because I have like several pairs. Did you guys see
the High Life Forest?
Did you guys know that this is quite possibly could be the last season of baseball without robot umpires?
Yeah. We kind of talked about that. They're doing it in spring training this year, and it's going to happen. It's inevitable, Bruno, and it should.
So this is what did they?
But I like the way they have it set up to where you still have the live ump and they can challenge. I don't know if I would go to a 100% electronic strike zone. I just like, hey, I'm going to challenge it. We've seen it in spring training. I think it's a pretty effective system, and it's getting good reviews.
Fast. Well, and the whole line, the deal with tennis, that's always been a thing. You like that I'm pouring my coffee?
My dog was peeing in the room. I thought my dog.
My coffee.
Was like, what? Kirby's peeing.
This is a shit show today, I think. I don't know what to do.
It's actually pretty normal. You may not know it, but it's pretty normal.
Yeah, I'm not on all the time. It's like, yeah. Oh, every Thursday, I'm getting my core power.
Got the core power,
dude. We're loving the core power.
I'm telling you, it's where it's at. But,
it is.
Anyway, so I haven't had my coffee. That's the problem. But the strike zone you had with the tennis, that started off, and that made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
they've had
that mastered for a long time, man. They've had that technology, and now, Bruno, you can even buy a program for your. So, like, if you and I went out to go play tennis, I can put an app on my phone that does that exact same thing from my phone.
They have a thing where you can set up and it can record, just like you just said, shooting baskets at your house or wherever, and it tells you all the things like you need to work on or where you're, what you're good at, what you're not. They've got things that follow the whole soccer match now. I talked to the guys at what is it, the Musco Lighting, and they are working on the possibility of computer-aided like soccer judges. Because it's always hard. It's like any kind of sports where the kids and you need the ref or the ump, and they don't have enough people doing that. So Pretty cool.
This is a true story, Trav. When they first started this, they created this technology where the camera would follow the ball. So the camera just sits up above the press box and it constantly follows the ball. There's a problem with it. If one of the I swear to God, I'm not making this up. If one of the coaches is bald,
so
That's
my
funny.
head would be the ball. My head would be the
camera
the ball.
keeps refocusing to the coach.
Wow, that's funny. That's good stuff.
That
Bruno,
is great.
You never disappoint. You never disappoint, and don't think that it was an S show. It was it was typical.
It's the way
it's
what
makes your
perfect.
It's what makes your segment unique.
Well, you've added in the whole element of putting me on camera now, and I got to figure that out, and I got to figure out my angle, and and then pouring my coffee right next to the microphone, and then right when we start,
perfect.
I have this light that really lights me up. I bet you it'll work right now.
It's gonna.
And it
as he gets it fixed up, I'm gonna take you off.
And then it just doesn't work. Right when we start, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I'll see you next week for the
Thanks,
same
buddy.
crap.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
You bet.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video and set up your notifications. Follow us on the social media channels. We will be back tomorrow as Ben McCollum, head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, scheduled to join us right around 7:30. This is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Doug Burgess, service manager here at Willis Infinity. As we move into 2025, I want to say one final thank you for what 2024 has brought to us. Getting the opportunity to meet many of your customers, and for you, voting us the #1 Google-ranked dealership in the Midwest. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And to know why, and to have that Willis experience yourself, stop on in or go online to make your appointment at willisinfinity.com.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm John Linares, sales manager at Willis Lexus, and this month we're going to help you find your perfect match. Stop out and see us. We've got great inventory of NX and NX Hybrid, TX, and ES. We have more inventory arriving daily, and this month Lexus has also brought back the very popular 42-month lease. Stop out and see us or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.